The Honourable Mr Tony Abbott, Prime Minister of Australia, Ministers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to welcome Prime Minister Abbott and his delegation to Singapore. The visit comes at a significant moment because this is not just our 50th year of independence, but also 50th year of our bilateral relations. First of all, I'd like to thank the Prime Minister for honouring us earlier this year when he came for the funeral of our founding Prime Minister, Mr Lee Hsien Loong. His presence meant a lot to us, and it bore testimony to the friendship between our two countries. The Prime Minister has had a busy 2 days. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of showing him Bishan Ang Mo Kio Park in the evening, including the Otter family having dinner. And we joined a gathering of Singaporeans and Australians who are living here for an Aussie-style barbecue. We served up steaks and good Australian wine to the hungry crowd. I think all the food at the end of the barbecue was gone. Cooking steaks isn't quite part of our job specs, but so far we've not received any complaints about our cooking skills. I also hope Prime Minister Abbott liked the orchid which we presented him this morning. He named it the Dendrobium Golden Friendship. I think we have some of the sprays down here in front of us. It's an apt name because the orchid's parents are a Singapore hybrid and an Australian species. Our two countries share a long friendship. Australia was the first country to establish diplomatic relations with Singapore, just 9 days after Singapore separated from Malaysia. But our ties go back further, before we became independent, at least to World War II, when Australian soldiers gave their lives in defense of Singapore. And many of these Australian soldiers have been laid to rest at the Kranji War Memorial, which the Prime Minister visited yesterday morning. Singapore will always appreciate and remember their sacrifice. Over the years, our two countries have developed very close ties. We have strong, well-established defense, trade, and people-to-people links. And beyond this, there's a special warmth to the relationship because we share a rapport with each other, whether between our politicians, our institutions, or our peoples. So we have strategic convergence in the interests of the two countries. We have many complementarities in the economies of the two countries. And we have this rapport between the people of the two countries. And therefore, I've always felt that we could do a lot more together. And I'm glad I've enjoyed good relations with successive Australian Prime Ministers over the years, and very happy to continue and to build on these good relations with Tony, to deepen our bilateral cooperation and to take it the next step forward. When I first met Tony in Canberra in 2012, he was leader of the opposition. Soon after that, he became Prime Minister, and we have met each other several times in a series of international meetings, APEC, G20, ASEAN meetings, CHOGM, many more times than you would expect over 2 years. I'm happy that when we meet, we go beyond just talking about our official agendas to exchanging views on how we see the world and on our roles in the region. One of the things which we did talk about bilaterally is how we can bring our two countries closer together. After all, we already have very intimate relationships. There are more than 50,000 Singaporeans in Australia. There are about Singaporeans in Australia and 20,000 Australians in Singapore. So what more can we do? And I'm glad Tony shares the same sentiment. In fact, it was he who raised the idea of a strategic partnership when we met in 2012. And over the last year, our people have worked hard. And today we are launching the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership, or the CSP. The CSP will foster cooperation in many areas, in trade and economics, in defense cooperation, in security cooperation, in creating opportunities for our people to get even closer together. It is what its name suggests. It's comprehensive, it leaves no stone unturned. It's strategic, because given the strategic balance, the shifting strategic balance in the region, it enables both our countries to work together to promote regional stability and an open and an inclusive regional architecture. And it's a partnership. because it describes the win-win nature of our relations. At the heart of the CSP is a substantive 10-year live roadmap, Project 2025, which will set the course for Singapore-Australia ties over the next decade. Much credit must go to Tony for his personal vision of closer bilateral relations, which you have pursued with determination in our conversations and with our agencies. And probably with the same determination with which you did an hour-long bike ride in a hot and humid climate yesterday morning before dawn. So I look forward to working with you to guide the project 2025 and to bring our already excellent relations to a new level. So it's fitting that to mark this relationship, we planted a tree yesterday at Bishan Ang Mo Kio Park, and that we presented each other with gifts of trees today. What we planted yesterday is a glum tree in Malay, and it's what our old Malay village, Kampong Glam in Singapore, is named after. But it's significant because it has a shared lineage between Singapore and Australia. It's native both in Singapore and also in North Queensland. So it straddles the Wallace line. And on our part, I'm very honored that the Prime Minister has presented me a Wollemi pine. It goes back 200 million years, and it was believed to have gone extinct 2 million years ago. But 20 years ago, it was discovered in Wollemi National Park in Australia, and 100-odd specimens were found which have survived all these millions of years. And they have been cloned, and they are thriving, and we have a few of these trees growing in the gardens by the bay in the cool house. And this new one from Prime Minister Abbott is special because it's a gift, and we will take good care of it. And it will make its home at the Singapore Botanical Gardens in the cool house. On my part, I presented the Prime Minister with a Tembusu tree. And when the Prime Minister came to the Istana, through the main gate, and looked at the greenery in the grounds, chances are you saw the Tembusu trees, because they are the tallest and most magnificent trees planted in the gardens. It's an evergreen hardwood, strong, handsome, easily recognizable from afar, and one that Singaporeans love and provides very nice shade in many of our parks. Once a year, sometimes twice in May, it flowers, and the whole tree is covered with small cream-colored blossoms, which give off a distinctive fragrant aroma. And I think it's a tree which symbolizes our friendship, and I hope it symbolizes how our relations between our countries will be. One that's precious, one that is evergreen, fresh, and regularly blooming. So, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, our relations are in good shape. We've taken them another step forward, and I'd like to invite you to rise and join me in a toast to Her Majesty, the Queen of Australia, to the good health and success of Prime Minister Tony Abbott, and to the enduring friendship between our two countries. Cheers.